All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get underway. I want to welcome you all to the November 16th, on this rainy day, the Victims' Compensation Board meeting. Please call the roll.
Chairperson Randall.
Here.
Member Richard.
Here.
And member Mr. Ramos is absent today. Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it is one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Item number 1 of the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the October 19th board meeting. I second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the October 19th board meeting. Are there any questions or additions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I guess we have to do them. I get my two meetings mixed up. Item number 2 is the public comment item. This is the opportunity for public comment on items that are not on our agenda. If you would like to make a public comment, I would invite you to come forward now. Okay, thank you. Seeing none, we will move on to item number 3, which is the executive officer statement. Julie,
Yes.
would you like to make that statement?
Absolutely, thank you, and good morning to both of you.
Morning.
October was an extremely busy month here, and I want to actually start out by acknowledging all the hard work of our entire staff. And as you hear my report, you'll understand why I'm saying this, because it was really an extraordinary month. With the Las Vegas shooting and also October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We just had an incredible amount of activity, overtime, et cetera. So to those who are here in the audience and those who may be listening, and please take the message back to all of our friends upstairs who are working hard. My heartfelt thanks to everyone for your compassionate response to the situations that we've had to deal with. I know it hasn't been easy, both in terms of physical demands and the extra hours of work, but also the emotional factor as well. These are very difficult situations that we've dealt with, and unfortunately they're becoming more of a reality. I commented to someone the other day that I think it was at our directors meeting that we've developed an expertise in responding to mass violence, which is an expertise which we didn't have to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is our reality. So let me give you a bit of an update on the Las Vegas shooting situation. To date, we've received almost 1,800 applications, and we've paid out $95,000 to cover funeral expenses and other immediate needs. We're addressing about 775 requests for income loss and another 300 bills of assorted nature. The flow of applications has let up a bit. In the early days of the month, we were receiving about 100 a day. We're now receiving about 25 a day, but it is still steady. We're actively encouraging victims to apply to the program through multiple communication tools, including media relations, mass emails to stakeholder groups, including mental health providers, and social media outreach, all in this effort to make sure that people know the program is here to help them. From October 2nd, the day after the shooting, through November 2nd, we had 61 news clips appearing, and those were interviews, profile stories, mentions, and press release postings. Nearly 50% of the press coverage appeared in the southern half of the state, which, of course, was meant to reach the majority of the California ticket holders from that event. I have some other numbers that our media impressions exceeded 63 million viewers, readers, and listeners, which is 1.5 times the population of the state. So we continue working closely with our counterparts at the compensation program in Nevada, along with Cal OES and OVC at the federal level, to address both those the short-term needs and then anticipating longer-term needs. So the work continues. There will be a needs assessment conducted in the coming weeks, and then we will formally apply to OVC for the Anti-Terrorism and Mass Violence Assistance Grant.
And when
carry
will we be applying for that grant?
After the assessment is
Okay,
done.
and that'll
So
be about what time, do you think?
I'm looking, I would think a month or so. It takes a little bit of time to get the application pulled together, but we've been in constant contact with OVC, so every time we have questions about expenses and whether or not they could be and should be included in the grant, we're getting that kind of direction. So then we'll just put that together in the package, and I would expect it to be approved relatively quickly. And we will be administering that. And then, of course, sadly, this week there was the mass shooting in Tehama County, which had obviously a horrific impact on the community of Rancho Tehama Reserve. I think we all know that 5 people were killed and several children were injured, but because the school was able to go into lockdown so quickly, we realize how many lives were saved through that effort. And I'd like to point out our successes with Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which we also observed in October, and we did kind of a joint effort with Weave, our local shelter here. So we had a blog and a press release. I did a number of interviews, including ABC 10, KCRA, KFBK Radio, and we co-authored an article with Weave's director, Beth Hassett, which appeared in the LGBTQ periodical. It's called Outward Magazine. And then several other media outreach and infographics. So again, it was a very busy month, but it shows us at our best. We are able to respond quickly and creatively, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done. So thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And I want, on behalf of the board, to add my voice to how well you all worked during some real tough, tragic, very emotional times. Julie and I were on the phone frequently, on email frequently. The governor's office recognized how hard you all worked, and we're very proud of the effort that you put together so quickly and that you assisted our sister state, Nevada, in the tragedy. As Julie and I reminded all of the GovOps department heads that it's just not those folks who are actually struck by, sadly, a bullet or in harm's way. Everyone at that concert was a victim. And so I can't thank you all enough how hard you worked. And as Julie has said, sadly, we're becoming very good at this. And hopefully we'll be able to put some of these tragedies behind us and not see them in the future. And again, the Tehama incident, I think there was one more victim actually today. They found his wife. Anyway, and then in all of this, we also had the fires, and that doesn't impact victims' comp. They're probably an act of Mother Nature and fire lines, and who knows yet. The investigation isn't finished. But October was a tough month for our state and for our emergency responders, of which I think of you on the front lines with the emergency responders in so many ways. So thank you all for the hard work. Hopefully we'll have a rest from these tragedies for a long while. And thank you, Julie, for being such a fine leader during this difficult period, and all periods. Okay, Rick, do you have any questions or anything?
No.
You're good? Okay. Moving on, then we will now move to the victims' compensation portion of our program today. The next item is the disqualification of a provider of mental health services that will be presented by Robin, Cal VCP Resource Branch Manager. Good morning, Robin. Bumblebee.
Yeah, you got it. Good morning.
I
board-
wanted to wait until you were seated.
I know I might have fell over. Huh? No.
Yeah.
So good morning, board members. Today I'm presenting the board item on the proposal to disqualify VJ Powderhorn and Deborah Harper and collect on the overpayments. CalVCB investigated the services provided by VJ Powderhorn under Ms. Harper's management when irregularities were identified. The investigation confirmed fraudulent billing when Ms. Harper utilized signature stamps of licensed therapists for services not provided by the therapist. Declarations were submitted by the therapist whose stamp was used and attested to the fact that the therapist did not provide those billed services. This occurred for over nearly 300 sessions billed from June 2015 through September 2016. During this time, CalVCP paid over $24,000 to the provider on these bills. I'm seeking approval of staff's recommendation to disqualify VJ Powderhorn and Deborah Harper and to collect the $24,352.50 overpayment.
Approval.
And I agree, second the approval. All in favor? Aye. I should have asked for discussion before the vote. Let me hold for the vote. Do you have any discussion, Rick?
No.
Okay, well, I do. I find this case outrageous, and I cannot believe that a practitioner is out there re-victimizing, in my opinion, the victims. And I will be discussing with counsel and Julie what more we can do, if there is anything under the force of the law.
Yes, Deborah Harper is not a licensed clinician.
No, I know she
Oh,
isn't.
yeah.
I know she isn't. But she's a business person.
Yes.
She's running a business, and that business is to assist victims of crime. And this is outrageous that
Yes.
someone would visit this type of fraud against victims. And we're not even sure, probably she's billing for things that didn't happen. What happened to the victims? Where are they in all this? This makes my blood boil. Anyway, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now convene in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 11126C3 to discuss numbers 1 through 22B of the Victims' Compensation Program.